image. Is it okay if I don't make my screen big, or would you prefer I did the present? I just can't see the chat when I present. So is this okay? Okay, cool. Excellent. So we have 20 minutes. We are going to talk about public image this morning and why it matters and how it will help you and your club. So I found this quote actually last year. I am going to go full screen. There we go. I found this quote by Paul Harris last year and I just love it. So I kick off all my presentations. So if you feel like I'm a broken record because you've heard me say this before, I apologize, but wanted to share it anyways. So this is a changing world and we must be prepared to change with it. The story of Rotary will have to be written again and again. And I found this right at the beginning of the pandemic last year, and it was just so relevant at the time. And it was obviously relevant when Paul Harris said this many, many years ago, and it continues to be relevant. So we need to be constantly on our toes, nimble, ready to adapt to a changing world, but also changing technology. And that is very relevant to the public image world here. So a little bit about me. I'm over here on the far East Coast in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. I was in the Rotaract Club of St. John's. I'm in the St. John's East Club now, and I work in HR and marketing. And please feel free to reach out to me at any time. We have an excellent public image team. I believe we have about 8 or 9 members at the moment, and they're all very eager to help you guys. So whatever you need help with, please be in touch, and myself or one of our team members will be very, very happy to either meet with you one-on-one or meet with your board or do a presentation to your club to chat about anything public image. So if you do have any questions, please type them in the chat. Alana, I can't actually see the chat at the moment where I'm presenting. So if you
I can monitor for you. Yep.
Perfect. Excellent. So I'm just going to kick things off with a little activity. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen so I can see it at the moment. So when I say Rotary, what do you think of? So I want you to type it in the chat. I'm going to read them out as we go here. Giving back, community, helping others, service above self, service, ending polio, caring, polio, changing lives, peacemaker, where I love spending time and meeting new people. I love that, Miriam. Friendship, community, connecting, fellowship, service, exchange, truth, honesty, giving back, fun, love it. Shared effort to make a better world. Roger, I love that. Love that. Difference maker, supporting youth. Those are all spot on. So public image comes down to whether people who are not involved in our organization, do they feel the same as all of you? When they see the Rotary wheel, do they see community? Do they see fun? Do they see making a difference? And that's what it's all about. We want people to see this Rotary wheel and the word Rotary and know that it's a positive thing and that we're here to help and we're here to make the world a better place than we left it. So this is from a public image survey that was conducted by Rotary International in 2018. So these are a couple of myths that I'm sure we have all heard from our friends and family when talking about Rotary. People replied to the surveys thinking that Rotary is a secret society, a meeting of company presidents, an old phone, a nonprofit with branches in major cities globally, an international club that does vaccinations. True, that is true, but that is not the only thing that we are. A bunch of guys who meet for lunch. We used to be. Or the most common one, I have no idea. And as Rotarians, we all know that this is not what we're all about. So what Rotary actually is, we are leaders from all continents, cultures, and occupations that exchange ideas, take action for communities around the world. And we want people to know that when they see the word Rotary or just see our mark of excellence, which is the Rotary wheel. So going back to our public image, having a positive public image and marketing ourselves consistently and well will allow for that brand recognition and for our public image to be raised in a positive light all across the world and in our communities. So we want to be recognizable. And as I mentioned, for people to see Rotary and know all of those words you guys listed in the chat, we want the general public to see Rotary and think of all of those positive attributes that we know that we have. So there is a little bit of a difference between public relations and public image. So some of you may already know this, but public relations is more so a marketing tool that helps businesses, organizations, and individuals build a positive public image or reputation, the public maintenance of an organization's public image. So they are definitely related, both are important. And public image is the public's perception, basically the outcome of those public relations efforts and the way an organization projects itself, the impact of an organization's message. Now, we are all individual independent clubs. We are all part of one organization. So while brand consistency might on the surface at the club level not seem very important, we are all here for the greater good of promoting Rotary and helping our communities. So having a stronger brand overall will do nothing but good at the club level. So this is a little excerpt from the Rotary visual, I'm blanking, visual,
Voice and visual identity.
I was missing voice and visual identity guidelines, which are available on the main page of the Brand Center on Rotary.org. And it basically goes through in great detail, not super great detail, but enough detail to understand what Rotary's brand is and why. So you can see a little bit here. I'm not going to go through each of these, but you can see there in the middle for values in particular. These are all things that typically Rotarians share. We want to build friendships, honor our commitments, connect diverse perspectives, and apply our leadership and expertise. And then down on the bottom, how we communicate. Rotarians are known as smart, compassionate, persevering, and inspiring people. So that's something that we have in common across all clubs. So if you were to take a look at the voice and visual identity guidelines, which I will, I'm going to add that on a slide as a link probably, but it is a PDF. I would highly recommend taking a look at that. It talks about the logos, the color palette for Rotary, things like that, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. How am I doing? Pretty good. There we go. So I just want to highlight some common goals for Rotary clubs. Your club might have some different goals, but these are some goals that many clubs across our district here in Atlantic Canada and St. Pierre-Miquelon share. So most of us want to raise funds for worthy causes. I think that's something we all have in common. We want to do projects that strengthen communities, whether that's our local community, a community that we're partnering for a global grant, maybe in another country or in our own province, or maintain and establish partnerships. I know a lot of our clubs work with other organizations to get things done, whether that's another charitable organization or if that's a business. One example would be our amazing partnership with Vessies for our Tulip project, as an example of a partnership with a business. And then the last one there, establish and maintain fellowship. I don't know if it was the PI study or if it was another one, but Rotary International found that a lot of people join Rotary for the business connections and networking from a professional perspective. But when they looked into why people stay in Rotary, it's the fellowship. So it's really important that when we are projecting our club externally, that we show all of the things that we're doing. So supporting organizations, strengthening communities, establishing partnerships, but also that we are fun. We're a very fun organization. I know all of the clubs across the district have fun together. So don't forget that when you're promoting your club to promote that part of it as well, because the fellowship piece is very important. I know the folks from St. John's East on this call will totally agree with me. So when Rotary across the world has a positive public image, it helps the club. It doesn't just help Rotary International. So we all have a role to play in making sure that we are increasing the positive public image of Rotary around the world. So I'm going to not leave you, but get into 3 things that you can take back to your club and implement relatively easily at no cost, aside from human capital. So the first one, up your social media game. So I actually didn't talk about the logo yet, which I just want to touch on quickly. So the logo up in the top right corner, has anybody, and raise your hand. I know there's some of you on here who do it. Does anybody call this the new logo? Anybody call this the new one? I know people still call it the new logo. Well, the new logo is almost 10 years old. So it's time for us to stop calling it new logo, I think, and making that transition to using the Rotary logo. I'm sure there's some business owners on the call as well. If you were to change your branding of your business, I think you want your employees to stop using old email signatures too, or using old website materials or things like that. So if you think about it in that lens, it makes quite a lot of sense. So first thing, update that logo. I feel Louisa did an excellent job of making sure clubs were using the current branding standards. So thank you, Louisa, for that effort, if you're still on here. Okay, so upping your social media game. So you want your social media to be representative of your community's diversity. I know Miriam had mentioned the People of Action campaign, but you want to show pictures of people in action and having fun, going back to the point that people stay in Rotary for fellowship. Quality over quantity. Post on social media frequently, but ensure it is a quality post. Don't just toss something up or share something just so that you have a post every day. You want to be thoughtful, and having a thoughtful social media post doesn't mean it needs to take a lot of time and effort to put into it. Invite your friends to like your Facebook page. So my club, one day we had a lot of success. I think we had less than 200 followers on our Facebook page, or likes. And one day at a meeting, we just got everyone to take out their phones, and there's a function where you can invite your whole friends list. We got almost 1,000 likes within a couple of days. So I highly recommend doing something like that to get more exposure externally. And then last, as I just mentioned, make sure your branding is up to date and current, and share the responsibility between a few members. So it can be really overwhelming if you are the one person responsible for all of your club's social media. Clubs are doing a lot, and that's a lot of pressure on one person. So allow multiple people access to your social media pages so you can share around the load, just as we would if we were planning an event or committee. Typically, we wouldn't leave that to one person to do everything. So share that around. Some things that might help would be like making a schedule or splitting up weeks or months or things like that between members. So some things, not necessarily don't ever, but some not so much recommend. Post photo of handshakes and check presentations. Okay, every now and then, if it is a significant contribution or something like that, or in combination with something else that shows what actually happened with the money. You want to show the impact you made. And I don't know, maybe you feel differently, but a piece of foam board and some members doesn't show me where $25,000 went to help a school or feed a community, help a food bank, put a roof on a shelter, something like that. You will get way more engagement by posting photos of what actually took place. And again, can't say this enough, using the old Rotary logos on the internet in particular, it is less easy to change on infrastructure. So if you have a big Rotary wheel on something, do not worry about that. But on the internet. Typically, it's free to change. So I do recommend that. Next here, leverage your network. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a phenomenal team for public image here in the district. We have people from their early 20s all the way to retired folks and everything in between, from all walks of life, from all provinces. And they are super fun. And if you would like to be part of the team, please reach out. I know every chair, I think, is probably reaching for members for their committees, but the more the merrier. And that goes for every committee. So reach out to us. We are here for you. We are here to help your club thrive. That is our main purpose. So reach out to us. Using My Rotary. When you log into My Rotary, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information on there. So if you do need help, again, reach out to the team. We'd be happy to walk you through My Rotary if you're not already familiar. But the Brand Center is where all of the public image things live. I'm not going to walk you through that today. We do not have time, but if anybody would like to set up a one-on-one to learn more about the Brand Center, I would be happy to do that with you. When you log into My Rotary, it's under Manage, and then Brand Center is right there in the list. And last but not least, and arguably the most valuable resource, are our fellow Rotarians. I know my club and many clubs have Rotarians from all walks of life. Lots of diversity in many of our clubs in terms of careers, backgrounds, culture, interests, things like that. So use each other. If you know somebody in Rotary with marketing experience and you have a question or something, ask them. I'm sure they'd be willing to help. And if they're not, I'm sure they can point you in the direction of someone who can. This is my new favorite slide. So creating engaging content. Start the car. We have so many free resources. A lot of people think marketing and doing a good job with public image costs money. There's no need to hire a fancy marketing company to do these things that I'm talking about. So the Brand Center, as I mentioned, free resource. We're not going to take a look today, but on there you will find a logo creator. So if you don't already have a customized, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can add your club name under the Rotary logo and customize that. That's on the Brand Center. If you want to do more reaching out to the media, which I highly encourage, there's a media release template. If anybody remembers Mad Libs from the 90s, it's kind of like Mad Libs, fill in the blanks. And it's very easy to use. And then you can just fire those off to your local media stations. If you want new pop-up banners for in-person events, there's banner templates, the People of Action campaign templates. If you do work with polio, which I know most of the clubs in our district do, there's always new polio logos and materials being uploaded to the Brand Center. So log in, take some time to explore, and they're all free.
2 minutes, Christina.
Okay. Perfect timing. So the other free resource is Canva. These slides will be shared. So this is actually a link to a very useful Canva tutorial, which I highly recommend. It is free. If you are a registered charity, if you have a foundation that's registered, you can get a pro account for free, but you do not need a pro account to use Canva. Highly recommend watching that tutorial and using it. If you see images on the district social media, 99.99999% chance it was made using Canva. So if everybody could now or on the break at lunchtime, take out your smartphone or use your computer, join these few Facebook groups. They are very useful for public image. We started this public image one last year for the district. We haven't been using it a ton, but every now and then we do share resources. If there's an event coming up, we post it there. And the last thing I want to say before I clue up, is email or text me at any time if you have any questions. We don't have time for questions at the moment, but I'm happy to chat after or any day. And last plug, if you are super interested in public image, I'm actually part of the Zone Public Image team, and we are hosting an event on April 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you join the Get the Word Out Now group, you will see lots of information about it, as well as the district group. It's called Public Image the Musical. So all of the assistant zone public image coordinators across Canada, we are getting together, and it's called Public Image the Musical, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's going to be a really fun event. So I hope I see some folks from 7820 on there. We have 3 representatives actually from 7820 on that zone team. So tune in to learn more.